this. Someone flips me a bad body. Oh, it's another one, yeah. It's a first one, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
What is going on, people? Welcome into another episode of the STAYWEIGHEDIN show, presented to you by iBoxingHub in association with our partnership with D-Rock Clothing. You know the vibes. D-Rock Clothing, head on over to the website, iBoxingHub24, get yourself 40% off. You got the tracksuits that we're rocking. You got Johnny Nelson there rocking everything. Joseph Parker, shout out to him as well, and the Resurgence. But yeah, Ray, we're here first and foremost. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you, man. Bank holiday weekend, so the working week starts now. But yeah, just going through the phases and waiting until Friday. What about yourself?
Listen, I'm with you, man. The 4-day week. Listen, we got an election coming up. I'm gonna put this out there. If you want my vote, get me a 4-day week. That's all I care about. I need a
Yeah,
4-day.
yeah.
You got my vote. You potentially, maybe not. But with that being said, we're here to talk all things boxing. And look, we had the biggest British fight that we were gonna get in 2024, most likely. The rematch has taken over 2 years, but finally, Jack Catterall has faced Josh Taylor, was able to beat him unanimously as well. Give me your initial thoughts on the fight as well.
I think it was like a good scrap. It was a cool contest between the two, especially like with the delay and everything, with all the anticipation from the first fight. If you watched the Stay Weighed In stream when it first happened, you know, it was one of the first time I done an instant reaction because I was just shocked by the initial result of it all. Just like how someone could get robbed like that was crazy. And I think for Jack Catterall, I think it was a situation where you can't get undisputed back. You cannot get a moment back. But in the famous words of Denzel Washington, I'm leaving here with something. And Carroll went in there and he said, if you're going to rob me of anything, I'm at least going to get this win back. And kudos to him. He went in there and put in the performance. However, all the calls of Josh Taylor being washed better go away because he put up a valiant effort. Do I think this is the best weight class for him? Absolutely not. Go up to 147. You're getting older in age. It's getting harder on the body to cut weight. But Josh, you know, brought the clocks back a bit with that performance. But Carroll was just that much better on the night.
I was gonna say we'll talk about Josh in terms of weight and stuff like that, but yeah, we've had a few comments already come in, so shout out to everybody locked in and watching. One of the ones that we saw straight away was the fact that obviously this wasn't for all the belts, so that's just a bit frustrating when you come to Jack Catterall. But in terms of the fight, what did you see from Jack and Josh that made you think, okay, Josh isn't as bad as what people were thinking, and obviously with Jack, he seemed like for me, when he was jabbing, it may have not been as much in terms of the frequency, but there was more power behind it. There was more zip behind it. Whereas Josh had he was jabbing, but it was like a 1-2, 1-2 constant, and it wasn't as powerful. Like, what did you see from both guys in this particular fight that maybe you didn't see in the first one, or just in general?
I think it was more on Catterall's side that it was just authoritative. He was just making sure that because of how the first fight ended, it was almost like putting a stamp on everything that I do. Everything that I do is going to have emphasis on it. Everything I do is going to be counted. There's no timidity in how he was rolling. And I think that first fight, it was almost like as the fight was building up, you could see Catterall started to believe in himself. And then the latter rounds, as like when he got to that Zen mode, dropped him and was just in it. Whereas this fight, I think he started in that zone, like, no more am I like the pretender. I am the contender and I'm coming for your neck. And then that's what he done. He went in there, he put it on Josh Taylor, and credit to Josh Taylor because for as much as people may have thought that
Listen,
shout
Scotsman.
out neutral for that. But yeah, listen, people saying about the hug fest, kudos to Josh Taylor. There was one point I remember Jack Catterall absolutely lamped him with an overhand left, and the experience of Josh Taylor came in. He started clinching him, and I remember they both fell down. And the way that Josh got up after they both fell down was kind of like, oh, this guy's rocked badly. But the precious time he bought himself by using his experience was just amazing, veteran instinct. And both competitors need to be obliged for how great they fought.
I hear it. Just a quick shout out to James. Well, big up to yourself for tuning in, not just to our show, but every other show as well. I always see you live in the comments. Interesting. He says that he had it close in this particular fight. The scorecards kind of suggested it otherwise, where two of the judges had it significantly in Catterall's favor. Now, I can half see how you have them marginal scorecards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think there's always this reaction where if the fight seems close, but the scorecards don't, it's like someone's been robbed or they've incorrectly judged it. Just talk to me about the scorecards and your point of view before I give mine.
It's a tricky one because sometimes these are situations where the scorecard doesn't tell the whole story, because I don't think the score should have been that wide, but it being given that wide also isn't a shock because there were so many swing rounds where it's just like they could both, let's say, to put in simpler terms, they could both be throwing, 10 punches around, and then in the latter part of the round, Catterall will make sure he throws in 3 more extra just to put emphasis on it. So obviously, for those that watch the match, you're going to look at it like, oh, but they both threw a similar amount of punches. But I think Jack Catterall learned from the previous mistake of put emphasis on everything, and he just made sure that whatever Josh Taylor did, I'm going to do just that bit much more, make sure that you can't rob me. And I think that's what we've seen when we watch the fight, whereas the scorecard doesn't give that. So obviously, for some people, it's kind of just like, nah, it wasn't that wide. But in reality, if you have to score a round, yeah, you must score at Catterall. It doesn't mean that Josh Taylor got outclassed, but it does mean that Catterall won it. And like I said, some people are going to be upset, but the only controversy is more in the fact of how much did he lose by rather than if he lost. This time, there was no controversy regarding who lost. It was just about how much.
See, I hear your point because I'm with you. Because I look at certain scorecards, I'm like, what you're telling me is you've definitively scored 3 to 4 rounds for Josh Taylor, which is fine. Then you have to definitively score a certain amount of rounds to Jack Catterall. In between, you then have the opportunity to go one way or the other. If two judges just decide they want to lean one particular way, then yes, the scorecards are always going to be quite vast in terms of what it is. And then when you read them out, it's like, oh, a certain person got robbed and stuff like that. But the reality is, if what you probably need is, I always say this, the same way we have it in football when it comes to referees making decisions, it would actually be good to have a judge come out and say, this is how I justified my particular scoring. And then we get a better understanding of, okay, this is how they particularly work. But do you ever see something like that happening?
It'll be good, but then what's gonna happen when the judge has been paid off? They ain't gonna admit it. So sorry, the dirty business of boxing is what it is. Like,
do you know what? It might sound crazy, but I don't read. I might be naive, but I just think in 2024, you're not paying people off, surely.
people
It's
are getting paid
2024.
off.
We're not in the
Listen,
90s or
man.
2000s.
It's in the words of future, it's an evil world we live in, man. Listen, I'm telling you, I've seen some nasty things. We're going on like Catterall and Taylor wasn't just 2 years ago when we saw that robbery. It happens. So, there's gonna be promoters that buy favor with, their favorite fighters, and then obviously judges might get a little nudge or a hint to make sure that, hey,
Oh
if
no,
it's
no.
close
I
rounds,
get the
my
little
fight's gonna
nudge.
win.
Don't get me wrong. I see a little nudge, and I always tell you what's the hardest thing right now in
And
boxing.
them nudges is metaphorically, because them nudges are a little bit of, here's a little, under the seat, make sure that my fighter wins if it's a close. Obviously, there's certain times when,
The nudge don't go
like
the way.
Usyk Fury last week was so undeniable that no amount of nudges could give
Oh no, see,
could
I'm
give
the.
Usyk that. There was no amount of, I love that belt. That's hilarious. Shout out Lennox. There was no amount of nudges that could make you deny Usyk. Even like the first AJ fight, I remember the scorecards were quite close, but if you actually like, kudos to Matchroom for not being complete spoilers. But yeah, we saw what we saw. Like you cannot ruin that type of card, and I think I have absolutely gone side road on this. But yeah, that's just
No,
my
no, no. Listen,
that's just
I
my
hear it.
that's my view on
I
why.
hear it.
That's my view on why a lot of these judges won't speak after, because the promoter probably won't even want them to anyway.
Well, you talk about promoters. There's one guy that stole the show, and we got to talk about it. First, let me put this out there. When I realized how old Bob Arum actually was, I was like, this guy went Saudi Arabia,
And he's still going.
and then he went to Leeds. He's probably going to be in
And he's
Saudi
still
Arabia
going.
somehow again. Like, being 92, being as where you are in top rank, the private jet must be so nice that you can just get yourself to these locations without worrying. But look, we got to talk about, look, the pictures there. I mean, so you saw Eddie in the background. I think Jack, they were all laughing. They were like, this reminded me, a lot of people obviously memed it with the AJ outburst as well. Like it just came out of nowhere. I know that's your guy, but he's got to get it. He's got to
Oh
get it.
no, I was gonna say that's disrespectful. That's nowhere near. AJ's one was just like, yo, AJ's one put sauce in it. I think they're two different sides of the same coin. I think Bob's one was more like the funny outrage of an older person that doesn't give a heck no more. AJ's one was more like, do you know what? Bun all you lot that want me to be this media darling. You want the real AJ? Here I am. And I liked both outbursts. That's why I think even like when you saw it and Catterall and Eddie Hearn were just there laughing, it was just like, do you know
It's
what?
like he's taken the moment, but look, he's 92. He's like that
Yeah,
senile granddad. Like you just
have
gotta
it,
let him have his moment.
Lem, and it's entertainment. It wasn't one of those moments that took away from the fight. I think that's where there'll be an issue. If it was just like was a highly contested fight, and then he done that, but it's more like this is a promoter standing on business for his fighter, and they've already won anyway. They've got their revenge. Have your moment, man.
I was gonna say, look, we've seen a few of the comments, some about the scorecards, some about just the fight in general, but then there's always the topic of the trilogy. Now, I'm gonna say this: it's 1-1. Just hear me out. If you were to do a trilogy, I don't need it at 140. I do need some kind of catchweight fight for both guys. But again, I don't want it to happen right now because I want Jack Catterall to see what's next for him in terms of a world title shot and stuff like that. Same with Josh Taylor. Let me see what's next for you at 147. Then, if nothing's materializing or somehow you both lose, at the end of the day, you've each got each other. And you can make some form of trilogy fight that somehow we're going to end up paying. We're going to be interested. 144, 143, whatever you want to put it at. But I do want to see a catchweight fight if it happens, but only after you do something else first.
I totally agree. Catterall needs to go for his 140 belts that he was robbed of. Josh Taylor needs to hurry up and move to 147 whilst he can maybe still get a belt, because I think his Stanasis, apologies if I got his name wrong, if I pronounced it wrong. Ennis, I believe Barros is going to get promoted to WBC, and WBO worldweight champion, I'm not sure, but the way I still look at it now, with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence away, this is the best time for Josh Taylor to move up and try and get a belt at 147. Try yourself at 147. If it don't go well, then maybe seek that rematch. But it also depends on the ball's in Carroll's court. I like the fact that he's called out Teofimo Lopez. Lopez at this point needs Catterall, because you need some form of credible opponent, because it's looking lonely on that side. At 140, the ball's in the court of Matchroom and the Zone.
I mean, wait, I'm going to just cut you off just quickly because I can't say not a credible opponent because Teo did beat Josh Taylor to get the belt.
No. I'm talking about now. Who's the, because after that Jermaine Ortiz ordeal, who's the guy he's facing now? All credit to him, and I hope he goes out there and makes a name for himself. But we don't know that guy. We don't know
I hear
the guy that Tio's facing. Like, we put it in the group chat, and everyone was just like, "Who?" Like we don't know that guy.
Wait till you hear what's happening with Canelo, but that's a different conversation.
Don't even get me started on that one,
Yeah,
cause
wait. I'll put it
that
in the chat. I will put that in
the
the
worst
chat.
thing is, yeah, that's my guy, and you lot keep on making it seem like I don't like him. I do, but I just don't like the antics of you can't be undisputed and picking and choosing. But that's a whole nother ball game. But we digress. In regards to Jack Carroll, next I want to see him 140, and I'd like to see him go against Teofimo Lopez. I think that would actually be a brilliant fight to see.
I think I saw earlier on that it was the last fight under the Matchroom banner for Jack right now. So on that
Mm.
basis, I know we were saying it's a bit difficult to make fights because we saw Bob Arum saying he doesn't want to work with, he's not going to have an American, even though Josh Taylor's
Josh
Scottish,
Taylor Scottish, yeah.
fight on his card. But I think he's probably just saying that. Is there a possibility where you see, depending on what gets done, him just doing some form of one fight deal over with Top Rank, or does he stay with Matchroom and probably fight Mateus or something of that? I mean, stay with Matchroom and fight Mateus. Because
The
this is
balls.
what I was saying. I was going to say, sorry for cutting you off.
No,
I was
go
gonna say,
ahead, go ahead.
if he does a Top Rank deal, as much as Jack Catterall is what Jack Catterall is, and he's got momentum, I think he's going to get the short end of the deal,
Of course.
significantly shorter. Whereas I think staying with Matchroom, trying to work financially, there's more incentive there for him.
Yeah, I think it's a techie one because I don't even think Eddie Hearn would be upset with him if he went to Top Rank. I
Mm.
think Eddie Hearn, Jack Carroll's in that weird position of you got a good working relationship, but you're not the cash cow. So I think Eddie Hearn will probably see it as, if you go to Top Rank, all the best to you. But at the end of the day, we all also understand that Carroll's not going to be the A-side. Carroll's not going to be the favored guy if he does go to Top Rank. And even if he wins at Top Rank, he's probably going to get a free fight deal. Maybe more because he's not in a position to be naming his shot like that. But with Matchroom, obviously you've got the IBF route, you've got I have IBF or WBC with Devin Haney, and I know obviously Isaac Cruz,
That's
Isaac
never happening.
Pitbull Cruz is. I can't imagine Carol at PBC. That'd be hilarious, but I doubt it. So right now, I just think here's the thing with the IBF. It's so weird because Hitchens Richardson or Richardson Hitchens, I can't even. I always forget what order that comes in. He is meant to be the IBF mandatory, but he's also complained about the welterweight weight limit of 10. I think they've got a
£10,
rehydration.
yeah.
Yeah, got a rehydration clause, and the fact that is looking. I'm not going to say he is, but it's looking a bit duckish with Matthias. Hitchens is looking a bit duckish with Matthias, the way he's been handling things. So if he doesn't take this title shot now, then yeah, Carroll should be like, F it, I'll take it. But me personally, I definitely would rather want to see him against Tio.
No, I'm down to see that. Do you know what? If we can somehow get Teofimo Lopez in the UK, listen, I always say it. You know me in the chat. I will pay whatever money I
Oh
need to
yeah,
see certain guys. Teofimo still he's not in whatever money, but he's in the high-ish bracket of money. Like I would be down
listen,
to see
man.
Tio Lopez.
After what Bob was just saying about the UK fight, the funny thing is, I think Tio will probably get more money in the UK than he would in
Yeah,
the States.
100%.
I don't think Tio's going to get money in the. He already doesn't. He's not like the big draw in America that they were expecting him to be. And I feel like if he was to come to the UK, it would be a very big fight. They can do like, well, if it's going to be ready in time, they could do the Co-op Arena, the new Co-op Arena in Manchester. If not,
I was gonna say that's
what's
the
the other one?
spot. The AO Arena, but it's not.
Yeah.
You're right. It needs to be the Co-op Arena. Find a way. But yeah, to Newton's point, I believe I saw a tweet where I think this was officially his last fight.
Oh
But
wow.
but I think look, everyone's got their last fight until they run it up. It's like one of them under the radar things where he'll probably side again. You won't even know about it, and it just runs type of
I
thing.
think it's either with Top Rank or Boxer.
Mm.
Either Top Rank or Boxer. I can't. It's a bit techie though, because now I'm also on the thing of is Top Rank going to be looking at Josh Taylor like, have we squeezed all the juice out of this
I
situation?
think they have. I think to a point. as much as I love Josh Taylor, I think bigger fight than Steve Claggett. No, you're right. Like no,
Exactly. Yeah.
nobody. And do you know what the worst thing about Teofimo Lopez is? And I said this: there's certain locations in America where boxing is boxing. Miami is not boxing. Nobody goes to Miami and says, "I can't wait to watch a fight." You can go to Vegas and say you want to watch a fight. You can go to New York and say you want to watch a fight, but you are not tuning in on your vacations to say I'm going to Miami to watch a
Watch.
boxing
Yeah.
fight. It's just not happening. So no, I hear it. I think if you want, this seems to be the right fight for Jack Catterall. Like just let's find a way to make it, and if anything, let's try to find a way to make it in the UK. That's
I'll
for me.
definitely be. Listen, man, Eddie, just get on the phone to Bob Arum, have a word, sweeten him up a bit, and yeah, let's get this fight in the UK because I'm sure Bob Arum must have watched that crowd and been like impressed, and I'm sure if Eddie Hearn can be like, listen, we'll make sure that Teofimo and Top Rank are taken care of financially. Let's do this in the UK, and yeah, let's do it here. Let's do it up north because from Tio's last fight, from when he faced Jermaine Ortiz, I forgot what that was, but that didn't draw the biggest crowd. Even the Josh Taylor one, they struggled to sell out Madison Square Garden. What's the little center they have inside of there?
Barclays.
No, because they have it's Madison Square Garden, but then it's almost like you have the O2, then you have the Indigo, and I think
Oh,
Madison
okay.
Square Garden have the same thing. So that's where Tio fought.
Right.
So obviously he's not
No,
proven to be.
He didn't get the big MSG. He got baby MSG. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
that's what I'm
saying?
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's
So he's
yo Tio. We need to have a conversation.
he's not in the position to be like making demands like that is. And I think if Eddie can convince Bob, like, yes, I know you feel that Josh Taylor was done hard by, but look at it money wise, look at it optics wise. The UK is the best shout for Teofimo at this point, especially against Catterall after that win. So hopefully, we can get that ball rolling.
And then we might as well talk over Josh before we just dip into what's coming up this week as well. You said it at the start, which I'm glad you did. The fact that Josh Taylor, don't let what's happened in the last few fights gloss over a guy that just two years ago was in no 3 years ago, sorry, was in the pound for pound rankings. He was probably in the top 3 to top 5 rankings at that particular point when he beat Ramirez. Um, I've got to ask you, has he outstayed his welcome at 140? Even though he says he has it, even though he says it,
Man,
has he
he
stayed it?
has. Yes, he has. And I get it because this is what I always say. Sometimes you got to save fighters from themselves because they are the biggest risk takers. They are the ones that you want them to have that mentality that Josh Taylor's showing right now. You want them to have that, strong headed mentality of like, no, no matter the odds, no matter the circumstances, I'm still the guy. Save him from himself. Be healthy at 147. Go to 147, put on a healthy amount of weight, especially as you get older. Don't be the guy that goes outside because, you just find out a weight class you shouldn't have. Like, one thing I'd hate for to carry on happening is, you take losses that you shouldn't have, and then people are going to be like, oh, well, you stayed at that weight class for too long. I don't want that excuse for Taylor because I feel like he's too good a fighter to be going out like that. So I would definitely like to see him at 147. Just like have a homecoming in Scotland, have a big fight there, get the crowd behind you, get a reputable past their prime welterweight as well. Put that in Scotland. Let's get the Tartan army behind him and let's go forward from there. But definitely 147 needs to be his weight class because he's 140. It's enough. There's rice at home.
Here at Jams is also confirmed as well, just quickly there, that Jack Catterall is actually a free agent. So yeah, it looks like him, Sam Jones, they've got some conversations that hopefully should be happening with
Yes.
different promoters and stuff like that. Again, for me, if you're gonna put it there, my money would be however you can get the Teofimo Lopez fight without being screwed too much financially.
Mhm.
Take that opportunity because I think that right now is your best fight in 2024. And that's another thing. I don't want it to be where you sign and then you get longed out waiting for that fight, and you end up being
We
inactive
might
2024.
do, and I saw Catterall put out a tweet like he was just like, I'm done with being basically he was saying he's done with being inactive, and I
Okay.
hope so too. I hope he can fight once or twice, two more times this year, because that's quite the talent we have right there. So hopefully he can.
And I think he's put himself, like you said, to semi-call the shots in terms of I want the Manchester fight and stuff like that. I think he's put himself in that position. I do want to quickly just swiftly move on. Like I said, guys, get yourself more comments in there as well. Let us know your thoughts about the fight as well. But we've got the big one coming up this week, and I feel like this past 3-4 weeks, this entire month and a bit more, it's just been non-stop top quality boxing. And this for me is what we'll call boxomania. Like to a point, the 5 versus 5, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn,
Survivor
Matchroom
Series.
versus Recruit, Survivor Series. His Excellency said, "Listen, I gave you guys the undisputed title. Now I'm gonna give you my Survivor Series." In terms of looking at both teams and their matchups and the guys they've decided, who's your money on, or just from the top to say that they'll go on and win?
Listen, man, this is like if you was outside during these times. I'm gonna show my age. When it was Ric Flair versus Vince McMahon Survivor Series back in the day. I'm going with Matchroom though. I'm going with Matchroom. I think Ray Ford. I'm banking on Ray Ford, Craig Richards. Who bear with me? My
Hergovich.
mind's Hergovich and Dubois 50-50.
Okay.
Zhang versus Wilder. I think Zhang. Richards versus Hutchinson. I got Richards. Ray Ford against Ball. I got Ray Ford. And then Ammo against Shiraz is a pick'em as well.
Okay.
So okay, let me rephrase. 2 out of 5, I got Matchroom. The 3 are pick'ems.
So it's interesting you said the pickers because look, this is what I mean. This His Excellency Turkey, he puts in little caveats, and your pick and fights are where the captains are. So yeah, the double points, the knockouts, and everything in between. For me, I've not seen enough of Amo Williams to be like I can make a big decision on him.
Likewise.
So I'm a pick. I'm a go with Hamza on that. But let me just read this comment. Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Let's address the bronze bomber quickly then, because I think um, there's a few topics in that comment that I think everybody will be looking at. And I think he's probably the biggest talking point in terms of Deontay Wilder for 2024 and beyond. Like, how much does he probably need this win compared to every other person on this particular card just to progress going forward?
Listen, man.
Don't
Let it,
disrespect Deontay.
let,
Let's
let
not
it,
disrespect
let
him.
no. Because I know Deontay's your guy. So if Deontay's ever watching this, Abbas is one of your guys. He's part of Bomb Squad, all of that good stuff. I don't believe he's gangster no more. Let me not say that.
Oh, come on.
Deontay has had a storied career. He's overachieved, and I say that in a complimentary way
Yeah.
because from the time he started to the success that he's had, more credit to him, to his mindset to even get this far as someone who had a very little amateur career before the age of 18. I do not see how, if Zhang smothers him, how he gets that overhand right off of him. I think
Roman
too.
Reigns.
Listen, man, that Superman punch ain't gonna save him because Zhang
Nah,
is gonna go in there and be kryptonite.
listen, we got the windmill. I don't know. Can you not remember the big windmill?
Listen, I know. Listen, I've seen the windmill work, but I think
Yes.
from Joseph Parker to Tyson Fury, I think the big men have shown how to deal with Wilder. Do not try and go blow for blow with him. Go out there, smother him, put your weight on him, and just put in the heavy blows whilst you're doing that. And I don't even think when people don't get me wrong, the last fight I did think or feel like Wilder had a bit of sting out of his
Yeah.
punch, but the way I watched that fight and how Joseph Parker was conducting himself, the best Wilder would have got beat on that day because Joseph Parker was just on his P's and Q's. And people forget Joseph Parker got landed on a few times. He just rolled with the punches and the angles that he got landed. I remember there was one punch that awkwardly landed on Joseph Parker and he had a bump on his head from the most awkward angle, just to show you how much power Wilder has. But I feel like there's too much tape on Wilder now and he's too late in his career to change who he is. I still, he was a medalist, but if I speak on the, on the heavyweight division, I'm in big trouble.
No,
but like I said, kudos to Wilder. He's overachieved, and I hope that he gets paid well for this. But I just don't believe that till this day, he's that guy to get his belt back. It's done, man. It's done.
I'm just gonna go to Jams's point there if we can get that comment up about his daughter and stuff just quickly, because I think when he went into boxing, he said, "Look, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to make money to support my family." And like you said, when we say people overachieve, it's not in a bad way. Like Deontay Wilder was not meant to be in boxing, and he's done it. He's achieved it to a level where, arguably in the more recent era, in terms of WBC heavyweight champions, he was up there with the more dominant ones and the most feared ones. I just want to quickly gloss over one fight because I think this is going to be one of them fights that I don't think if you're a casual, you may not necessarily tune in because of the names. But I think Ray Ford, Nick Ball has the potential to have the most diverse set of skills between two boxers that you just want to see how it's going to work. For me, I think Ray Ball's going to lose. I think Nick Ford, the Shakur Stevenson slickness.
You combined the two names. You said Ray Ball and Nick Ford.
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. Ray Ford. Yeah, his slickness. Because when I was saying, I was like, "Yo, this sounds a bit awkward." His slickness is gonna be able to, for me, just be too smart in terms of for Ball. What's your feelings on that? Is that like the underrated matchup for you?
Definitely looking forward to that match. This is the only great equalizer about that fight, similar to what I was saying about Josh Taylor before. Ray Ford, when he won that belt, was kind of on a thing of, I am not fine at this weight class no more. My body's like basically gone through it. I'm done. Obviously, I'm sure he's got a very hefty compensation for making this fight. But I am worried that this might be one weight cut too many. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's still able to bring it out. But it'll be interesting to see how he deals with one more weight cut because, like we were speaking about Joe Cordina before, who you had alluded to before his fight about staying in the weight class for too long. I think Ray Ford has probably learned from people before him. Don't overstay your welcome. So I think maybe one more fight, he should be cool. Hopefully he shouldn't, make his body deteriorate too much. He's still young, so hopefully he can still put in a good performance. And then after he's done that, relinquish the belt, and then move up to 130. But hopefully we see quite the performance and quite the fight just before he does that.
Yeah, no, I hear it. Listen, guys, we're going to wrap up today's episode, but that doesn't mean that the content stops because we get done. Later on tonight as well, you're going to see Rico and the Commissioner Trill going live as well around about 10 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that. Get your comments in for these guys as well. USA across the way from the US to the UK. You know the vibes from these two as well. They're going to come up with it. Obviously, tomorrow we got Trey and BNG back again. Then we got R&R. I believe that's also live from Saudi again. So again,
Raz on a mission.
Raz on a mission. He's trying to get that Saudi visa. He's trying to get that Saudi visa.
His Excellency, show some love to Ra, man. Show some love to Ra, man.
Yeah, I hear it. And then obviously throughout the entire week, also, if you haven't already, go back. Aisha's interview with Radio Raheem, go ahead, check that out as well. And also, again, shout out to our sponsors, D-Rock Clothing, iBoxingHub 24. Get yourself 40% off. Listen, producer, we're going to call it a wrap. Guys, appreciate all the support. Hit us with the outro.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag.